Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Here we go with part 2 with the incredible Jennifer Hale.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, everybody has ups and downs at
yeah.
whatever level they're at, as you do too, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the obstacles that maybe hit you today?
Today,
yeah.
self-doubt.
Self-doubt?
Self-doubt.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm always the way that this brain is wired and this body and machine is wired, I'm always looking to what's next. And I'm doing things that people are like, you're doing what? And I'm like, it's just where I'm led. It's what is next for me to be able to help more people, empower more people, grow a bigger life. And sometimes I'll second guess myself. You know, like years ago, I was like, I'm taking these probiotic things. And people are like, what? You're eating what? Those things are useless. That doesn't do anything. And now I'm reading, you know, probiotics, powerful in the in mental health and physical health. And of course, everyone knows that now. And I find myself often in that position of, yeah, but it's this way. And people are like, what? You know, and then later I'm like, see, I knew it. But I torture myself in between with the, oh gosh, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm, you know, and I really have to let go of people's opinions of me and what they're going to think of me and stay with what my gut says.
Yeah, if it makes sense to you, that's enough.
That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do.
Absolutely.
You know, and the thing is, as you become something in an industry like I've had the good fortune to do, you know, there's more to lose. You have to risk the judgment and derision of others to go, this is what I'm choosing, and there's a really good reason for it. There's an entire world to save and empower, and we have got to get busy because some stuff's coming in a couple years that's going to be really difficult, and we need to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Do you want
Come on. Don't leave me hanging like that. I got to know too.
I mean, you know, I don't know.
If you know secrets and you're not sharing
You
with us,
know,
man,
I don't know secrets. I just know who I listen to. Like money is
you're going
one
to tell
of
us over dinner.
Right? No,
privately.
you know, everyone should know this.
Sorry, guys.
Money's a hobby of mine, and the people that I've been studying for, 10, 15 years, not studying, but just following. In 2006, I sold the last, home that I owned, and based on everything they told me, they were like, I was like, I'm not buying. This is crazy. I am not buying. I don't you guys see this? And everyone's like, are you nuts? It's a perfect time to buy. And I was like, but my gut's saying no, 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 no. And then, boom, those same sources are saying, in the next couple years, we're going to have another correction. Europe is very unstable economically.
Yes.
China's growth is has contracted a bit, as is expected. We've gone through a huge shift where we were all, that compartment made 10 cents a day. That compartment made $18 an hour. We were all in our compartments. Whoosh, somebody took away all the dividers, and everything's gone.
Yeah.
And everybody's salary's all up in the air. And as I was saying earlier, we've moved from a society where, at the turn of the 20th century, 90% of us were self-employed. At the end of the 20th century, 90% of us were employed, 80% of us were employed by someone else going, take care of me, help me. No, honey, it's a house of cards.
Yeah.
We're entirely a planet of what they call fiat currency, which that means money's worth something because someone says it is, not because it's backed by anything. That has not been the case since the fall of the Roman Empire. I don't know. It's just a fact to know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that, okay, I need to know this information so I can make choices that I feel like take care of me and my family and my friends. And I need to share the information so people can make their own choices. Don't panic. Don't freak out. This isn't about that. This is about what I call the backyard barbecue revolution, where, okay, if the hits the fan and everyone's flipping out, you have the burger buns, you have the beer, you've got the briquettes or the grill. All right, we're just all going to hang out at each other's house for a couple weeks because we all stored water and did our thing until everybody settles the hell down, and then we're all good. We'll find our way again.
Right.
In 1933, I think it was Roosevelt, everybody who owned gold, who had it stored in a bank, they nationalized gold. They took it. And then they revalued it on paper, figured out what it was going to be to support all the crap they were doing, and gave it back to you based on okay, now it's the same value. It's not as much, but it's the same value. You're fine, Things like that happen in these, and everybody wigged out, and that's part of what created the first fireside chat. Like, and these adjustments happen from time to time. The world didn't end, but it was a major adjustment at the time, and everybody wigged out.
But don't you think it forces you to become more communal?
Yes.
And not just be the lone wolf, which I think is such a statement on our industry. The voiceover industry is so communal.
It is.
And so supportive. And I think that that's, it would be nice for that to extend into.
And I think, you know what, it's absolutely
population.
true. One of my favorite stories out there is called The Pig of Happiness. It's on YouTube. It's an awesome video, and it's about how the pig is super happy, and all the other pigs are like, I don't know, you have a fat butt. And the Pig of Happiness is like, I love your butt. I love everything, you know, and I'm the Pig of Happiness. If you just keep putting it out there, you will change the energy of the space, and you will inspire others to do the same. Chris Brown, she's a brilliant director. She works on Tim Schafer's stuff. She's an incredible human being. I love her so much. She said, and she's a student of these things, she pointed out in a conversation once that everyone says survival of the fittest. They throw that term around all the time. Well, in the actual document that phrase came from, that's in there about a half a dozen times. The word cooperation is in there about 260 times.
Yeah.
So really, what's going to serve us and save us? You know, it's like, I mean, the more we reach out, and you know, the one superpower I wish I had is if I had a magic wand, I would touch people and say, so that all they could do was experience the emotions and feelings and loves of the people they hate. Just once. Because once you understand somebody, you can disagree with them till your head explodes, but you can't hate them.
Right.
And once you have that understanding, that's where the healing is going to come from. I mean, I think the Dalai Lama says the world will be saved by the Western woman or guy. You know.
Well, Chuck's theme song is "Dude Looks Like a Lady."
There you go.
That is my song.
We often go places fully lit. It's not like we're in some table for two ladies.
And I'm like, sure, why not?
And then they'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys," and I'm like, "Why do I have to be a dude?"
Yeah.
So,
She's not a dude. Look at her. She's hot.
so his
my
theme song. So I just go, "Bennett,
Yes.
You too, lady. You're a pretty lady.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jennifer,
Yes.
there are lots of blogs out there, journalists. You mentioned Tom
Lots.
Bissell.
I love him.
When talking about video game actors, have said about you that you are the Meryl Streep of the genre. Right
Oh my
on.
God, that's so crazy.
Give me a little,
that's
baby.
so crazy.
Right?
Oh my
What
God.
is? I mean, what does
I
that
don't
mean
know.
to you? What I mean, and obviously, you know, this is. Go there. I mean,
I
what do you
can't-
think about that? What do you think about
It's
that?
an honor. Are you kidding? She's brilliant. She's amazing. And I hope
Yeah.
to God I can live up to it. That's all I think when I hear that. I'm like, whoa, thanks. Wow.
You have heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard that. I remember like being 20 years old and being so discouraged because I wasn't as good an actress as I wanted to be, and I felt I should be because no one had told me the little thing that I'll tell you in a minute. And I remember I had this little thing that often happens to me where something in the ethers goes, "Hey, dummy." I was like, "What?"
What?
And said, "In 20 years, you will be, because it takes 20 years to get good. So shut up and quit whining and get to work." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Got it.
You know, got it.
Yeah.
And someone once told me, I think this comes from a book, The Drama of the Gifted Child, which I've never read, but so many of our, you know, our fans are so bright that, you know, I want to share this with everybody, which is when you're sharp, you see where you are and you see where you want to be, and you see that gap is like, crap, I'm not there, what's wrong with me? Instead of seeing the truth, which is, wow, look what I can envision. Look what I can conceive of. Look what I can, like, imagine. Let me go there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Flip that switch.
Yeah.
Because the other just keeps you stuck.
Well, and even as you think, "Oh, I'm not there," but there is stuff happening all along the way. There are things happening right now that there's people talking about you. There's things happening that you're not even aware of.
Right.
But there's always
Right.
movement.
Yeah. There's this great quote. I have it on my wall at home, and I don't read it enough to have memorized it, but it's something like this guy saying, people ask me, you know, what's the hardest part about getting what you want? And he said, the hardest part is not getting what you want. It's releasing it to the universe and trusting that things are falling into place, and you really don't have to force it or make it happen. You need to show up and do the footwork.
Yeah.
And you know, it may not happen. Like, I came to LA to be a film and TV actress, and I made a VO tape to pay some bills because I knew I could do commercials and stuff, and I was never allowed to watch cartoons as a kid. I'd never played a game. And my first audition I had was for a cartoon series, and I didn't know. I was just like, I don't know. I went in there and acted and did my thing, and I got it. And it was a whole series. It was series regular. It was Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes.
And I just had to show up and start learning. You know, and so the universe went, your spot is over here. And I was like, but what? Oh, okay. What? You know, and you just have to, what is it? Surrender, Dorothy.
Yeah, surrender is powerful.
It is.
There's nothing passive about surrendering.
It's interesting. It's a battle of the ego. You know, you can. It's so important to dream and envision and go with where you're drawn, because that is, you know, what you're meant to do. But the universe also has its own ideas and a place where you're also really needed. And if you complain and whine and bitch about that, you're not. You know, it wasn't $1 million in pennies rolled up in purple paper. It was $1 million. Shut up.
Yeah, hello.
You know,
Write out the deposit slip, or
gratitude. You know, it's the Sheryl Crow thing. I always say this to my little guy. I'm like, look, the secret is not getting what you want. The secret is wanting what you've got, and then go play.
That's really good. Yeah.
And then go play.
Yeah.
Then want stuff and figure out what you want, and then go, oh, that was cool. What else can I want? You know, because satisfaction it's a very healing thing. You know? If you can create from a place of being satisfied rather than a place of I'm not enough or this isn't enough, you know, it's so much more fun.
Oh, that contentment.
It really is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That doesn't come from anyone else. That you can be self-contented.
Oh, that was a rough
that.
lesson when I moved to LA. Oh my God. You know, because you're constantly judged and by people who I have a really dear friend.
You're like, who are you?
Oh my God, he's a brilliant guy. He runs a company. You know, he's in the health and nutrition field, and he's really brilliant and a wonderful human being. And he had an experience where a friend of his was in town from Brazil, who's an incredibly gifted guide. He will save your life in the Amazon, and they were sharing their story with people in Hollywood, and he was so struck by being judged by people who were like not nearly as bright as him. He was like, what is this? And I was like, yeah, this is Hollywood. You get people who have
welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah, and it's like going to the school where everyone's status is based on their popularity and what they drive. You're like, this is no substance.
Yeah.
You know, and I always felt like a bit of a misfit, 'cause I'm like, what? And now I'm like, oh, that's not my movie. My movie is what feels substantial to me, you know, because that might feel substantial to them.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
now
for
we're
me.
measured by our number of followers and clout score.
I don't even look at that stuff. I don't
Cloud is over.
Yeah, clout's
That's
over.
over.
But
it?
yeah,
Lasted
how
for
many
like 3
followers?
months, I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Thank God.
Yeah,
I can
thank
get rid of
God. That
in
was
my emails.
annoying.
Yeah.
The giving the case. Yeah. No, it's true. So, Jennifer, you have amazing agents that do wonderful work.
Love
for
my
you.
agents.
And that's fantastic. But what do you think, if any, is the responsibility of a voice actor in today's industry to help their career grow?
Well, it starts with one equation.
Okay.
You get 90% of the money, and your agents get 10. So 90% of the work is yours. However, that doesn't involve bugging anybody. You can make yourself known to professionals by networking in a tasteful way. But a lot of the times you can't reach them. Your job is to get your show as ready as possible, so that, you know, I see people, and I've just started to teach, which is really a fun experience. And I tell people, look, if you want to go to the show, make sure you're ready to audition against me. You know, and you feel that your stuff is as quality as myself and my peers are bringing, because that's the pool you're jumping into.
Yep.
Don't do yourself the disservice of jumping in too soon. Work for free. Work for your friends. You know, I'm not a content creator. I will show up and be in anybody's project that looks like fun to me. I love that stuff, but I'm not a content creator, but some people are. I say, put together projects with your friends. Get your presence out there. Practice your craft. Have your materials together. Get your reel together. Listen to other people's reels who are your peers. I don't say your competition, but your peers. And make sure you're up to snuff with them. Make sure it's short, to the point, and it translates. And let other people make that decision. I let my agents make the cut decisions. And I'll say, well, what about this? And they'll go, no, that doesn't work for me. And I'll go, okay. Give them the materials, show up on time, do your job, don't complain, be part of the solution, not the problem, and then get out of the room. Learning how to leave a room is a very tough skill.
Oh, yeah.
And you really have to be complete, that you did everything you're to do, which if you're there to give, you are complete. If you're there to get, you're like, are we done? Are we done? Because I didn't get.
Yeah, you
honey,
stay too
you're
long
not
at the
there.
party. It's not good. Yeah.
Be your own party. And that really starts, as cheesy as it sounds, with having a good, working through a good relationship with yourself. And for a lot of us who are creative, I mean, we're here for a reason. It wasn't always easy. You know, and there's some healing that has to be done. I've done so much therapy. I have been through, because I had a lot of stuff a lot of closets to clean. So I come in as a sane solution instead of a crazy problem.
Right.
You know,
There's no room for all your stuff and their stuff.
Yeah, well, and also for your own health. If you come in like, I'm going to get this, I'm going to be that thing, and then you're that thing, then you're like, what if it goes away? Crap, who am I? And then you're
Not
terrified
good.
all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Not a good place to be.
Yeah, that's not the energy we love.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a
Hey.
a panel question for you.
Let's hear it.
Let me see and get my tea. Yes.
Panel of one.
What are some of your favorite projects or characters that you've worked on? Can you remember any?
I have no recollection. I have one of those Men in Black sticks, and when I leave the studio, I go, where was I? I literally
Are
have
there
learned to
any
wipe my brain.
characters
Yes.
that you really are just like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm her?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, what are they?
Oh my gosh, Krem.
Krem.
Krem is one. That was a huge honor. Commander Shepard, Rosalind Lutece. I mean, God, in Broken Age, Mom. I mean, that's like, there's so many. Oh my gosh, Princess and Powerpuff Girls, because that's just freaking cathartic. There's so many. There's so many. It's Cinderella. That's like lovely to be Cinderella.
I know,
It's
right?
So
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's the coolest. And I always tell moms, I'm like, hey, if
Who's
you're like
Cinderella?
potty training and you need some help, Cinderella will call. She'll back you up.
She'll call.
Yeah, that is cool.
Hi, this is Cinderella. I'm on the potty too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, trust me.
What are you doing?
I love
Do you have a T-shirt that says "I'm Cinderella"?
No.
Who are you?
No.
I would
I
get
actually,
one.
for the first time ever, wore one of my character T-shirts. Someone gave me a Little Miss Shepherd T-shirt, and I was with Laura Bailey. We were working on Avengers, and I'd been horseback riding in the morning, and I never had time to go home and change. So I was in my stinky horse pants and my Little Miss Shepherd T-shirt, and that's the first time I ever wore. Oh no, I did buy one. I was at Comic-Con this year, and I walked by her Universe booth, that amazing booth, and they had a Miss Marvel sleeveless T-shirt, because they're always like, I'm
Yeah.
sleeveless. Come on,
Yeah.
give me a tank top. And I was like, oh, and I said to the guy behind the desk, I was like, I need that shirt. He's like, okay. And I said, no, because I'm Miss Marvel. And he's like, uh-huh.
Yeah, sure.
I said,
Yeah.
no, I'm Miss Marvel. He goes, yeah, I know, I'm sure
Superman.
you are. And I was like, no, I said, I'm Jennifer Hale. And he's like, oh my God. And I was like, nah, no, don't do that. Because I was completely anonymous. No one knew who I was. And then he was like, oh my God. And I was like, shh, t-shirt. Just give me the T-shirt. He's like, just take it. I'm like, no, I'm paying you for the T-shirt. Can I just buy the
take it.
T-shirt now? I made this very complicated. It was
Oh,
gosh.
that is so funny. Isn't it funny how celebrity status gets you free stuff?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
If people think that you're somebody, which everybody is,
Yes.
Thank you.
I know.
they
I
give
like.
you stuff.
Yeah. I like
they
when you
do.
go by and someone will say, "Oh, I think she's somebody."
'Cause
Like,
I love how I wasn't 5 seconds
yeah,
before.
it's like, "Oh,
really?
Take a picture. I think she's somebody." It's like, okay.
Oh man, I was at a video game store one time and I was buying somebody a gift, and this is like 10 years ago. No, like 8 years ago. And I'm standing there, and the kid behind the register was so flippin' rude. I was like, really? And I'm watching him be rude with everybody else, and I'm looking behind me, and there are literally 5 titles that on the lead-in behind me on the display. I was like, And I get up to the front, and he was just as rude to me as everybody else, and I was thinking, dude, I could end you in one sentence. I was like, no, I just took my stuff and I left. I was like, you're a turd.
Yeah.
You were going to say that? You're a turd?
I was just going to say, I was going to find
That
some
would've
way
been
to.
a good one.
But I was like,
You're a
no,
turd.
that's too much ego. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
do it.
It'll that karma wheel's gonna come around and
It's
Wow.
not. That's
It's
not
not
mine
your
to
place to
wield.
say.
Yeah, that's when I'm a little
Exactly.
too big for my britches. If I did
Yeah.
that, no,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
my place.
Yeah.
Well, let's bolster up those britches a little more, shall we?
All right.
True or false?
Oh no! I probably get it wrong.
In 2013, the Guinness Book of World Records called you, quote, the most prolific female video game voice actor, end quote.
That's so cool. That's
That is
cool,
very
right?
cool.
That's
That
so
is
cool.
true, by the way.
Yeah. I want
Yeah.
like a plaque or something. Can I get a plaque?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I love that you're...
You should have. I would
listen,
make my own plaque. Okay.
I think it's
Somebody
great you're in
said
the
that.
Guinness Book without having to eat like 98 million hot dogs or something. Sorry, nothing against a hot
which
dog,
I
but
could never do.
ugh. But I mean, you don't have to like put 7.
That's pretty awesome.
that's pretty
pretty
great.
great acknowledgement.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's crazy. Yeah.
No wonder nobody else can get any work.
No, they
With a
can. They're
title like
amazing out there.
that.
Trust
Listen,
me.
you have paid your dues and you've done your work, and
Thank
you know.
you.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
I'm
beautiful.
I'm kind of teasing.
I do know.
Kinda
you're
teasing.
Yeah. No, it's that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. I'm not going to argue. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
mean, you do promos, you do commercials, animation, but are video games, is that really where you...
No, I just
or
showed
you
up.
just
That's what the
wanna-
universe sent me. Honestly, I remember my first one, I think, was Where on Earth is Carmen San Diego. And I'm like, we're saying, how many flags for what? What? I'm just going to say the name of the flag? What? And I just went, okay. And honestly, I think I would just do them when other people wouldn't, because I was like, I love working. I love learning.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I just said yes. And it's the medium that found me. Plus, it's just such a... I like it because the acting has evolved. And I remember watching that evolution and hoping for that evolution from that more cartoon style to more of a film and TV style. Like because I've said this in workshop, which is, Michael Caine said, thought registers on camera,
Yeah.
thought registers on the mic as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
You just have to trust the material and just show up with your humanity there and live. And that medium just suits me. I love it.
Yes,
Love
it does.
it.
It sure does.
Thank you.
I think it does.
Thank you.
164
So going
times.
back to convention. Going back to the convention.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm such a nerd because I'm like counting. I'm like, huh?
Did you really count them?
I counted.
That's
I was like,
amazing.
and I kept going like, I got to 150. I'm like, come on. I'm like,
I love you.
dork. Yeah.
I love you.
So that was really exciting. I'm like,
You're
I've
this.
never counted this high on a
I love you.
It was really
Oh,
fun.
gosh.
So please keep doing more because I want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded
Hey.
by beautiful nerds.
Right, lady. Come on, lady. You should be so lucky.
Hello. You do conventions all the time. You
Yeah,
go and you
sometimes
meet
do,
with
yeah.
fans and stuff like that. Why do you do it?
I do it because it's fun. I get to travel, and I like to connect with people. And I like the panels when I can share the way I want the world to be. Honestly, like there's a way I want the world to be, and I know that it's not about me. And I've had people come up to me and say extraordinarily moving things about what the games I'm in and the roles I've played
Yeah.
have done for them. And I'm very clear that it's not me, but I take their compliment and then I go, so what are you doing now? Let's redirect you. Let's find you. I actually had a little stint last year where I was getting migraines to the point where one day in Orlando I was hugging the toilet, puking my guts out because I'd given out so much energy without restoring myself that I was literally sick. I was like, I might need to modify this a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still made it to rock climbing that afternoon. So there you
Of
go.
course she did because she is a bad.
Yeah, no. When you throw up because of that, you can replenish pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Alcohol, different story.
No, I'm
We've
such a wimp
heard.
that way.
Oh yeah.
Can't do it.
Well, that's really cool. I love that. And is it neat traveling around
love
with
traveling.
having like Jeff Zanini
Oh,
protect you?
I love
Jeff
all over the
Zanini.
place?
Jeff Zanini
'Cause
rocks.
you know
Jeff
he's
Zanini
watching
rocks.
the show right now. He's
love
right
Jeff
there.
Jeff Zanini rocks. Jeff's amazing. He takes such good care of us, and I get to hang out with my friends too. Like
Yeah.
when we're in the booth, we're supposed to be working. We can't be yakking like this.
Yeah.
And when we're out, we get to hang out. We get to have dinner. We get to see each other. Like we were somewhere, and I think Jeff and Dietrich Bader and I can't remember who else came with us. There were like 5 of us, and we went to a climbing gym, and I was like, all right, you guys,
Wow.
let's do this. And we had
That's
such
cool.
a good time.
Well, Jeff and his whole family, they adore you.
I love
They do.
them.
Natalie
Jeff
and
and
everybody.
Natalie and the
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely.
So great.
Yeah. As with much of your career, you have the NDA, the non-disclosure agreements
Yes.
that you can't talk about, but you are gearing up to do a ton of motion capture,
Yeah.
mocap. So just give people a little slice of what it is and what it involves and
Yeah, motion capture, the fastest way to understanding it's the way they shot Avatar, you know? And you got the dots, you got different formulations of dots on your face, on your body, and the computer captures it and renders it fairly quickly into whatever they need, right? And the difference from doing VO in a booth is you've got to memorize your script and you've got to follow blocking, you know? And like I was doing one that I'm going back on for another segment of next week, where I'm sitting on a giant piece of plywood and the stunt coordinator's underneath with his shoulder, and I'm in a chair that's been like drilled down temporarily into this thing, and he's lifting the plywood up, so I'm like, you know, steering a plane, but the plywood's actually dancing around. It's awesome. It was so good. So I was like, I'm working it, you know, and I really am, because I'm like, whoa, he's gonna knock me off this thing. It was so much fun. I love mocap that way. Plus you get to, it's like a combination acting-wise. The body is theater, but the voice is still VO, because you've got a little mic strapped to here, and you're wearing a headpiece that has, you've got a giant LED light blaring in your eyeballs, and you've got a camera capturing your face and everything. So your nose looks huge. And because the camera's right there, you're like, ah, that's my nose? Oh my God, no.
is this mocap making me look fat? Is it?
Oh God, and let's not even talk about the suits. You're basically
the
wearing long
unitard.
johns.
Yeah.
Long johns, really bad fitting long johns and really dorky looking giant black shoes.
And you
It's just
can't
like the
drink.
worst.
You can't drink because you can't use the
can't pee.
bathroom. Yeah.
You're Velcroed into this baby, so you have to time it. Like I tend to gulp a bunch of water at about 7 a.m., pee as much as I can right before I get in the suit, don't drink again till an hour before lunch, then pee my brains out, and then wait till 4. TMI, I know.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
because I'm a big hydrator.
Wow.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it's really fun though. Like when I was doing God of War, I remember with Electo, I could see, like, TC is, you know, he's not 7 feet tall. So if I were talking to you and you were TC, I was speaking to you this way so that I would have the proper angle.
Right,
But
right.
we're connecting, and actually it's
Yes.
a trip. But I could see myself. I could see like the monitor rendering me in that green body with that, you know, that whole, and I was like, oh, this is like the best Halloween ever. You know? And I'm like, what are you doing, crazy girl? And did you see?
Yeah.
It was so much
That's
fun.
cool.
I love mocap. Love mocap.
Yeah.
I got to coach with Gordon Hunt, who is
Right
he's the
on.
bomb.
Yeah.
He coached. I go to him. He's one of the places I can go to really learn, because I mean there are other people I can learn from, but they're too busy to teach. You know, it's like
Yeah. And you mentioned that you are teaching. Do you do it by Skype, in person? Is it just when
I
you?
prefer to
how
do it
you-
in person. I just do it for fun. I got asked by NYU through a wonderful actress named Sarah Elmale. She connected me to NYU, and they asked me to come in and do a master class for video game acting, and that was amazing. It was incredible to just line that up. It was,
Yeah.
that was one of those where I was like, and it was 2 days, and that night I was like, oh, I'm getting one of those headaches. And my friend who I was with, Stephen, he was like, you need chocolate. I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So we walked around New York for like a half an hour. Where's chocolate? And we found this place that was all chocolate.
Godiva.
This chocolate. No, it was beyond. It was like chocolate in liquid form. It was like this.
Wow.
I once found a place. That's my weakness, is dark chocolate. I was in New Zealand a few years ago, and I found a place called Patagonia, and it's not clothes and it's not
Right,
outdoor wear.
right.
It's chocolate.
I was gonna
Every
say-
form, liquid,
Wow.
solid, frozen. I was there 3 times in
And you
48
came
hours.
back. That's good willpower.
Yeah, hello.
She's like, I have to leave
Yeah.
tonight.
That was
I
fun.
love it.
That
I
was
love
fun.
it. So what do you think, kind of reflecting, have been the keys to your ongoing success?
Never gave up. You just don't leave. Just tenacity. I remember when I was when I first moved to LA and I'd been struggling, and I think I went from being at the top of the heap where I was to starting over out here. And before I made a VO tape, it was a tape back then, '94. I was waiting tables. I was struggling. I remember someone said to me, you need to think about getting a real job, because this may not work out. But my gut was like, you're doing this. And I was like, no, I'm doing this. And I just didn't give up.
Yeah.
I was realistic. I kept evaluating. You got to look at the market. You got to be a marketer. You got to be a business person, because sometimes I'll go back to my old high school, the Alabama School of Fine Arts, and I will talk to them, and I like to say, I'm coming to pour cold water on your dreams. I'll be there at 11. and I always say, you've got to become your own benefactor. You have to, because your art will suffer. you will not go into those rooms to audition with any freedom if you're like, I can't eat. You know, yes, that drives you, but you know, let's give you some breathing room too. You know, let's give you a trade or something where you can breathe and survive and live and not be miserable. You know, we got enough miserable stuff. Yeah, let's get happy. Think of happiness.
Happy's good, man.
What do you still want to accomplish in your life?
Oh my God.
There's a small question.
There's so much to accomplish. It just buckles my knees when I think about it. I'm like,
I mean, well,
God.
let me ask it this way. What are you really passionate about right now?
I would love to save the world.
Okay.
Actually.
The end.
I know.
You know what?
Well, I'm ending animal homelessness, so boom, we're done.
I will join you on that.
Yes, it's a pact. It's a pact.
will
We are
join you
doing
on
this.
that.
We are
Absolutely.
doing
Yes.
this. Please join us.
Please
Join
join
us.
us. Okay,
Yes.
we are here to save the world.
Well, and all that means really is teaching people that they can save themselves, and here's how.
Yeah.
You know, it's empowerment. I did a class, actually, it's the funniest thing, with some friends. I had about 10 people at my girlfriend's house last week, and I said, we're doing a money party. And they're like, what? I said, we're doing a money party. And I'm like, okay, yeah, because money is, it's what we operate on in this world, and people don't know it, they don't understand it. They're like, oh, if you have money, it means this. No, just have it, get what you need, and move on, you know? And so I've been reading a lot of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, so we did that. I ran down the principles that I knew. He has a great app, Rich Dad Powered by Clutch, and I just ran through that stuff, and then we played his game, Cash Flow, on the iPads. And people were like, their brains were rearranged, and I was like, this is it. Now you're empowered. Go forth.
I've never played Cash Flow.
Oh, dude.
Must be
great.
insane.
Excuse us, we're playing Cash Flow.
You played it?
I've played it.
Oh my God.
I have.
Oh!
Okay, I have to
It
do
makes
that.
you think hard.
Well, it does because, I mean, can you imagine, as brilliant as our peers are, as brilliant as these artists are, if they can take on something that's like 4 or 5 hours a week that they're slowly building over time, that in the 3 years they used to be working at a restaurant, they're now their own benefactor. What they can create, what we can put out there, who we can help. Like Kiva is one of my favorite sites. I just did a thing for free for somebody, and they were like, can we pay you? And I'm like, no, because I'm union. I'm not allowed. I can either work for free or I can work for union. So why don't you just give me a Kiva gift certificate, and I'll, you know, let's help. Kiva is a site where you can do micro loans to people in developing countries, and that $50 changes their life because they start a business and then they pay you back.
Yeah.
And then you reloan it to someone else. Like, that's where I'm a nerd. That's my happy place.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
That's fantastic.
You know.
beautiful.
You're so cool.
Thank
I got to
you.
tell you, I mean, before you got here today, I was expecting to meet somebody very, very cool.
And I kept saying to him,
but
Chuck,
nowhere
she's
near
not.
as cool as you actually
I kept
are.
saying, those are characters she plays. She's not gonna hurt you.
Are you sure?
I'm a nerd.
But she's.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Jennifer,
I love this. Okay.
pick a number between 5 and 127.
73.
73. She was ready. She was on it.
No, I just go with the first thing that pops in my head.
Okay.
I am so unprepared.
Boom, 73.
Okay. If you had to name a song, being a singer, okay. If you had to name a song whose lyrics best captured an experience you had, which would it be? And you can do more than one because it's my show. And you love songs.
There's
too.
so many. God. An experience I had. Oh. Anything by U2. Where the Streets Have No Name. I like Where the Streets Have No Name. I like, you know, Nobody Walks in L.A. Walking in L.A.
Walking in LA.
Yeah. There's a million.
Nobody
There's-
walks in LA, they
awesome.
run.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Wow.
Beautiful. What a pleasure.
Thank you
we
so
are so
much,
thank you. This is
yeah.
our 150th episode. It's a
150.
milestone for us.
Big hand for these guys because they're
And
awesome.
wow, thank you. And
Yeah.
we knew that it was. I kept saying no. And I knew this was the time. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing it with us. Thank you for sharing your soul and your beautiful heart with us
Oh
and
my
your
gosh.
work.
Thank you.
Everyone around the world is dancing and playing their
Absolutely.
games.
Go find your happy.
Thank you so much.
Go
My
find your
hand
happy.
is cold because it's freezing in here, but I'm
Oh
going to
my
touch it anyway.
God. Oh my
Thank you so
God.
much. Continued
Thank you.
abundance and blessings.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're always
You guys
welcome
too.
here.
Let's
You
do
are-
this again.
You are one tremendous person, I'll tell you that. You got a big, big, beautiful heart,
Thank
and
you.
and we felt it.
stop.
I don't know if you could. You
I
guys
eat
feel
paper.
her? Because I'm telling you right now, we are feeling Jennifer Hale.
We are.
All right. Hey,
Oh,
we will see you guys next time.
Hail to Jennifer Hale.
Go find your happy.
Jennifer Hale here, and
Buzzed by Jeff and Stacey, and I liked it.
Heck yeah. Jennifer Hale rocks.
Totally
That was
rocks.
so cool, man. Hey, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode.
Absolutely. Keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love you guys. Thanks for watching, and just remember,
You always have time for a little buzz.